Another mastermind hit.
That's right, another mastermind hit. Welcome back to 420 Live Ohio. It's good to have y'all back here with us today. Welcome to another podcast here, whatever you want to call it. And like the title says, because I forgot to update it, more changes are coming to the program. So, we got a lot going on here. And first thing I want to talk about is the Board of Pharmacies' decision to increase the number of dispensaries allowed in each county, and more importantly, the whole program. So initially, we was only allowed to have 57 dispensaries. Let me kind of visualize this for you guys. So on the left-hand side here, you have the current map versus on the right hand side the proposed map. So it could be kind of small on your screen there, but you can see everything's by counties, and you can see where there's going to be some dispensaries. There wasn't dispensaries there before, so this is definitely a change for the good, I would say. Definitely good news to hear that we're going to get some more dispensaries. How fast this will happen, only time will tell. To break it down a little bit further, but not going into it in too much detail, I'm going to give you another screenshot I've got here. These are the slides from the meeting that they had that kind of just gives you an overview in their decision-making process. I can provide you a copy of this. We will be going over it a little bit further in the meeting tomorrow for those who may be interested in talking about it further. But this is just kind of like, what they put out in their talking points. And if you would like to see the video, the press release or whatever, where I questioned them about the different things in this, go back and watch the video from earlier this week, because it just happened. So this is all news. But I also want to make sure you're aware of, I don't know if you've all seen it or not, but just because I like to stay official when I tell you things, this is an official notice from the Ohio Medical Marijuana Control Board program, whatever you want to call them. And it basically shows that they have officially, on April 19, 2021, the State of Ohio Board of Pharmacy approved increasing the numbers of dispensaries in Ohio by 73. If all 73 licenses are allowed, this will bring the total number of dispensaries licenses to 130. So they've got their 57 currently, and 73 will be approved tentatively. Now the other catch is that in addition to the existing application process, which is kind of expensive and kind of convoluted, is that there will be a lottery to decide who gets awarded those licenses. So hopefully I will be able to gain some additional information about these lotteries and how's that really going to work. So that's what we have on that. Now, these are big changes, and a lot of people keep asking me stuff like, what about the cultivators? Or is there going to be a shortage on flower now because there's more dispensaries? And I don't really think so. There are a lot of cultivations that are coming online and some that have not come online yet. And I think a lot of people just haven't seen it yet. So it's going to happen. You're going to see more cultivation sites, more processors. They're coming, guys. I can tell you for sure. I've seen some of them. and I know they're coming. If you go on the state's website, you can see exactly how many are still pending that haven't finished getting everything ready for them to be brought online. So there's definitely going to be more shops, more flowers, more products out there in the market than what we currently see right now. Hopefully this will encourage and help with lowering prices. So one thing I will give you guys a little sneak peek of is that I was able to visit the Firelink Scientific's dispensary yesterday in Huron, Ohio. It's not open yet. This isn't the best picture, especially not for me, but you know, they were, you know, a little concerned about the security, so they didn't want people taking a whole lot of pictures of their brand new shiny building. But this is a picture I have here, and you can also watch the videos I made yesterday. You can see it a little bit better, much better quality than this blurry screenshot that I have here. But it is a dispensary that will be opening. Also have another picture I would like to share with you guys. This is the Firelink Scientific's grow facility. No, I didn't get to go in this time because of COVID-19, but I did get this really great shot of the facility so everybody watching can see what it looks like. It's a pretty big facility. Firelink Scientific's is a level 1 cultivation site, so it's a pretty big place. And that part on the right hand side with the glass where the kind of like looks like a burnt tan, that's the lighting in the building there. And you know, and it's a greenhouse, so it's sun grown. So the sun, they picked this location because in Huron, Ohio, they said that's one of the places in Ohio that gets the most sun. So this area here that you're seeing is directly behind the dispensary that I showed you here. So excuse me, you can see, you know, they've got it made. They've got the dispensary and the cultivation processing facility right on the same property, so they could literally, like I said to them, walk over the material. Now, some of the things that they said that I think are really important is that they're going to be focusing in on patients' concerns and needs, as far as you know, they're going to have curbside. They're going to have handicap parking that's right up front. You can actually see that in the picture a little bit where those trash cans are. That's actually where it's at. Yeah, so we might be getting a little interference. I just want to let you guys know I'm having trouble with my internet service today, and there was an outage. What's up, Michael? What's up, Tamiko? What's up, Demo 84? What's up, Captain Green Toker? Yes, Captain Green Toker was there, and so was Robert Kowalski. And shout out to Miss Diane and Mr. Theo, who also were there. It was great to meet you guys. I also met Rick Johnson. It was good to see you too, Mr. Johnson. And we had a very educational time there. You know, it was their Earth Day, so it really wasn't focused on a dispensary specifically, but it did show us how Firelink Scientifics is working with local partners to put out good medicine. And I think the problem is that not enough people are being able to get the information about these cultivators like what Firelinks did today, which shows us that they're supporting local mom and pop operations. I found it most interesting to learn that their salve was actually made in conjunction with some local producers who are just, you know, husband and wife. And I thought that was cool. And I mean, they did the swag bag, but that bag didn't have a lot of Firelink Scientific stuff in it. It had stuff about the local businesses in the community that, you know, maybe you say, maybe next time I go back up to Huron, I'll have a couple places to check out and maybe get a little discount. So I think that was a great way to partner with local businesses in the community around where this place is located, which is near the Firelinks Bowling Green University. So I think that was really cool. And so as soon as they open, you know, I'll definitely let you guys know when they open. I'm gonna be waiting. I'll definitely making a trip. I do know that you know, when I got to go inside, they're gonna have some things that we don't have at other dispensaries. One thing that they said to me that sounded kind of cool is that you would have some kind of program where you could load money from your bank account into this system, and then you could kind of like have an allotment there or like a credit balance there. That way you don't have to worry about dealing with cash. So I think that was sweet. And then they also said that they were going to have a fee-free ATM in there. So like if you have to use the ATM, they said they're going to eat the fee, guys. That's unheard of. Fee-free ATM at the dispensary? Wow, game changer. So I think that would be cool. And they are going, like I said, they are going to offer curbside service. You know, they have another dispensary near them. The Forest Sandusky is about 15 minutes away from them. So it'll be interesting to see how them having another dispensary in the area will affect the prices and affect the competition. So that'll be something to see who has the best sales between the Forest and Firelands. And hopefully Firelands can open additional dispensaries in other places. Hopefully. And that's where we are with it. You know, I don't have the comments showing up on the screen just so I didn't want to distract from the information, but your comments, looks like my YouTube comments are not showing up here. Let me check, see what's going on with the YouTube here. We got it. There we go. Just make sure. Okay. Let's see. All right, there you guys go. What's up, Brian? All right, sorry if I missed anybody's comments. Oh, you said it was purchasing at the desk with your card. There will be no need for the ATM. Well, yeah, that's right. They did mention you would be able to use your debit card there too. That was something else that was breaking news. So, you know, it's talked about the ATM was there. Remember him saying it was going to be no fee, and then I remember he's right. They did say you could use your debit card. He did say that as well. So it will be a different experience than some of the other places. Now, also keeping in mind that we do know the Strawberry Fields Columbus is also coming, and we also know that hopefully sooner or later there will be a harvest coming to a few locations, including Columbus. So that's the thinking we have now. And hopefully we won't run into any more snafus. I mean, Fireland Scientific, I would say that dispensary is pretty close to being open. They still have some things they got to sort out there, but they're definitely, you know, coming soon, okay? And that's something I think that, you know, we can look forward to. I also want to go ahead and take a minute and just look at today's COVID-19 numbers. Looks like our case numbers went down a little bit, and that's good news. We are doing a little bit better. I mean, our 21-day average is still a little bit higher than it was, but maybe we're turning the corner. So let's keep an eye on it. It looks to me like the other numbers are kind of going down as well. Just looking at these little pie charts. Again, I always take these numbers and this information with a grain of salt, and I do not guarantee and believe these are the most accurate numbers available to us. So I always like to just put that little disclaimer out there. Moving right along to this weekend. So tomorrow we're having an open cannabis Zoom meeting. So this means that even if you're not a patient of the Ohio Medical Cannabis Program, you can come to this meeting and meet with some of us that already are in the program, talk about cannabis activism, cannabis reform, legalizing recreational cannabis, including, and it's cut off there, how'd I mess that, home grow, which I know a lot of people like to talk about, but I just want to say that our meeting will not be dominated by home grow conversation, but we will be talking about all the areas that most people have concerns and want to, you know, address. So like I said, we definitely want to make sure we include home grow in this conversation, but again, I just want to be clear and upfront, it will not be the primary topic of this meeting. And it will be hosted by me, and we will kind of have a set of rules there of how we're going to run this meeting, so it won't just be everybody talking over each other, so we won't be doing that either. Hopefully I'll be able to get some slides together. Like I said, I want to go in depth a little bit more about the board's decision. I also want to talk about how we can do some other activities together virtually or maybe in person to trying to get everybody together and organized. We need to get everybody on the same page. If we're going to get some type of reform going on, everybody has to be on the same page. And when I say everybody, I mean the patients, people who are just cannabis users, and also these LLC owners who have access to funding and cash. So no matter where you stand on the spectrum, we're going to have to work with LLC owners if we want to get some money to fund our initiatives. It's not going to just happen for free, and it's not going to just happen with Ohio Cannabis Live by itself. We're going to have to work with everybody across the board, and we're going to have to work with lawmakers, councilmen, mayors, you name it, in order to make this happen. It is not going to just be a one group effort. It's going to be everybody's effort. It's going to be us. It's not going to be I. It's not going to be me. It's not going to be you. It's going to be us. We have to do this together, and that's how we're going to be moving forward. So we're going to have this open cannabis meeting this Saturday, kind of a test run, a pilot of sorts. The next meeting next week will be a little bit more in depth, a little bit more serious, you know, and this definitely will be something that will not be streamed on the internet. You will most certainly have to RSVP. You will most certainly have to use Zoom. I mean, we're just trying to make sure that we have a uniform process of how to have these meetings. And make no mistake, we're not going to stop them anytime soon. So if you can't make it to this one, you can't make it to the next one, don't worry. We're going to have other ones. Some of those meetings will be open to everybody, and some of the meetings will be patient-only meetings, and we'll kind of go back and forth. And there's also some weekly meetings you can attend as well. So you can check my website. I've updated all the RSVPs for the meetings that are available right now for you to sign up for. So go ahead and go to ohiocannabislive.com/events and go ahead and sign up for tomorrow's meeting. It also will not be a long meeting. So sometimes on Saturday we go for many hours. We will not be doing that tomorrow. And that's just simply because, you know, I want to keep it to a shorter time for people, and also because I'm not feeling so hot. So just to let y'all guys know that, you know, we'll probably go about 2 hours, maybe a little less, depending on how everything goes. We will be trying to have a very organized PowerPoint presentation at the beginning of the meeting, and then open up the meeting for open discussions from people who have questions. During that meeting, if you have a question, we're going to ask that you raise your hand physically so that we know that you have a question, or if that's not possible, for you to put in the chat that you have a question, so that we can make sure we keep everybody in the proper order, so everybody has the opportunity to speak properly. Again, I will make sure that we will not be talking over each other, and we will be, like I said, moderating a lot differently than we have in previous meetings. Like I said, we're going to start doing some other things at these meetings to make it funner, to have some kind of other purposes. And when I say that, I mean, you know, access to other things that may not have anything to do with the medical cannabis program. Maybe it's something about vaporizers, maybe it's something about CBD, maybe it's something about Delta 8. You know, maybe it's a session where you can ask a medical marijuana doctor a question. Maybe we'll have a renewal clinic where people can sign up and get renewals for a good price, and have a special to kind of get people in the program. So we're going to have a lot of events that you will be able to participate in, that you don't have to worry about spending any money. You don't have to worry about leaving your house. You don't have to worry about being on camera. Hell, you don't even have to worry about having Zoom. How about that? Because see, we even have it to where you'll be able to dial into the meeting without even having the Zoom. You could even dial into this meeting from a landline. So we're making sure that we're giving people the most ways to participate. I know that there are people who have challenges with space on their phone, technology issues, etc. I am aware of these issues, but if we could just get you to a place where you're comfortable in how you participate in our initiatives here to improve our program, then it will be a lot easier for you. And so it's really important that, you know, your mission for those who are watching today is, one, for you to come to the meeting tomorrow. Number two, for you to bring a friend, someone else that's a supporter of just cannabis in general. Doesn't have to have anything to do with medical cannabis. So if you would like to bring your loved one, a family member, or friend to the meeting just to listen and maybe ask a few questions, we would love to have you there. We're definitely going to make sure that it's professional and respectful, and that it, you know, be informative for you, so that you can gain information about what's going on in the cannabis community and learn how you can become a part of what we're trying to do to get these things fixed, because we know that there are a lot of problems, and we have to work on them. What's up, Anvon? It's good to see you here. It's good to see you. Glad to see you back here. And like I was just telling everybody, we're having an open cannabis Zoom meeting tomorrow for everybody. And this means that, you know, we may have people that come to this meeting tomorrow that don't even live in Ohio. So just remember, You do have to RSVP. The maximum amount of people that we can have in Zoom at any given time is 100 people. And yeah, I mean, Ohio certainly does need home grow. I completely agree with you, 100%. And I think that we have to look at the future elections coming up and look at who supports it and who doesn't, and we may need to vote those people out of office. I mean, it's not going to happen any other way. We could talk about it and say we want it until we're blue in the face, but unless we can get the right people to craft the legislation and get the paperwork together, it's a mission impossible. So yeah, that's where we're at. So like I said, we have a couple people that already wrote some recreational bills last year, and they got stalled because of COVID. So those are still out there, and we can look at those and see if we can analyze pieces from those to make one particular initiative that we can all agree on that kind of gives everybody what they want, including delivery and home grow. And I also want to see something that includes cannabis protection rights that protect people from discrimination or biased because of cannabis use, either presently or past, and also to protect people who've had criminal records that are related to cannabis crimes. I would like to see some type of expungement program to help expunge people's records related to cannabis related crimes in Ohio and abroad, and I'd like to see that happen. I'd like to see a group of people that are willing to help me connect with the Spanish and Latino community. I feel like they're being left out in this whole program, and I think that's, for lack of better words, bullshit. They're a part of our community as well. I think deaf and blind people are being left out, and that also frustrates me. So I'm looking to figure out exactly how we can reach these communities, communicate with those communities, and figure out how to get them involved in their own little way, because there's always something everybody can do. There just is. And it doesn't require money, it doesn't require computers, and it doesn't require you to be an educated scholar. Any way that you can participate is however you can participate, even if it's just telling somebody else, hey, you really should check this out. You just did something, so you spread the word, and it cost you $0, and you didn't have to do anything that could cause you any physical harm or risk to your health, because I don't want anybody to do anything that would cause physical harm or risk to their health. I just certainly will not do that. And I think the in-person events are still a risky thing, especially in Columbus, with us being in the purple. I think that as much as we all want to get together and have personal events, they're still really not that safe. Outside is probably better, but still, once you get a lot of people together, because of the unique nature of cannabis and how it brings us together, it typically brings us in close proximity to each other, and that can be a bad thing if you're getting too close to somebody in their space. So I think that we still have to really take extreme caution when people trying to do that, and we have to try to end the stigma about cannabis, and that's something that Ohio has a bad history of right now. And I hear a lot of patient stories about how they're afraid of losing their job, they're afraid of losing their apartment, they're afraid of not being able to get medical treatment, not able to get a job in general, because they have a card, they have a cannabis history. Even if the people that are watching me don't have a card, you still live in a fear that you may have an issue because of your cannabis use, and it shouldn't be like that. And you're absolutely right, Captain Green Toker. It's really hard for people who are not cannabis users to really understand how this medicine works for us, because it's its own thing. I mean, somebody could tell you a tomato does something great for you, and it may or may not. But with cannabis, because there are so many different plants, there's so many different strains, so many different crosses, so many different lineages, and they all have different other cannabinoids in them besides THC. We as Ohioans are only scratching the bare surface of what this plant can do. And it ain't even just about smoking it or vaping it. It's about building with it, making clothing, making other materials, using it to help with the environment in ways with packaging and whatnot. And yeah, tomatoes for some people can be bad, as Robert has pointed out. Unfortunately, you act the same, medicated or not. Yeah, I know how that is. Most people never even knew I used cannabis until I openly admitted it. So I know that feeling for sure, Anvon. What's up, Mo Vision? It's good to see you here. That's an awesome question to ask there, Braylon Fisher. A 10 milligram edible, um, it can have a different effect for each individual person. And I know everyone in here that's watching can relate to this answer, is that for some people, a 10 milligram gummy will do absolutely nothing. For others, it may make them feel some kind of way. It may not be the strongest effect, or some people, it's just enough for them. But a lot of people feel like a 10 milligram gummy isn't really strong for them. Especially if it's made with what they call distillate, which is just basically a bare bones THC concentrate liquid extract that they use to make other edible products. But there are other recipes in Ohio besides the good old distillate, and water soluble is on the rise, and water soluble bypasses your liver and enters into your bloodstream that way, whereas a distillate based edible will enter your liver. Enter your body into your body through your liver. Sorry, it's one of them days. So yes, I have liver disease, and so edibles, for me, they'll affect me, but they take a really long time because of my liver disease for me to actually have any benefit from it. So I tend to be more leaning towards water soluble type products because they work faster for me, and that's just my own experience. But each person will have a unique reaction or no reaction. There are some people who can eat 1,000 milligram edible and feel nothing, simply because it's not processing through their liver. Most edibles with those type of numbers are usually always either RSO based or distillate based. Not often have I seen any water soluble products with those numbers, even in other states. So if you smoke a blinker off your vape cart and take a 10 milligram edible, that may be a good combination for you. Like if you can get to those type of regimens where you can say, okay, if I smoke off your vape and take a few puffs, 10, 20 puffs, whatever, and then you can eat a 10 milligram edible, and then you actually get the effect you want or the result you want, then that'll be great. But is it a guarantee for every person, Braylon? I don't think so. I think it just really depends. And I would love to know if that's something you're going to try to do and see if it works, or if that's something you're already kind of doing and feeling like it's just not enough, because maybe you just need to add another 10 milligram edible to it and do 20. And sometimes that's the trial and error we go through, is we'll eat some gummies until we feel something. And the thing about that is that depending on how you eat them, there's a delayed effect. So if you're eating distillate based gummies, the reaction time can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours. So if you're going to eat more than one, you should eat both of them together. That way the effect kicks in at the same time. If you stagger your doses, you may have a staggered effect as well. There's a lot of differences between medical cannabis, but not really significant. It's really just more about how it's handled, how it's regulated. There is a lot more. If you haven't been in many medical cannabis facilities, you really can't gauge the difference. But the difference is just a lot more care and thought going into, being sterile, being cleaner, You know, the way the walls and things are clean, fans are clean. Recreational is a lot looser. Restrictions are not as tight as far as what the requirements are. Testing is probably not as strict either. Testing in Ohio is really strict. A lot of people don't understand, but Ohio tests for every damn thing under the sun. If you haven't looked at a report, pull up one and look at it and see all the different things they test for. I mean, and then go find a lab report in another state, and I guarantee you it won't have the type of information we get. I mean, a lot of states, you know, they'd be lucky to even give anybody terpene information, and we pull a lab report and we get all the terpene information on our lab reports. A lot of states, they don't even give all that. They just give you general things like, oh, it has limonene and carotene in it. No other information, no percentages, no numbers. But our labs are a little bit deeper than that. And like I said, you know, a lot of people are still wondering about Delta 8 THC. And, you know, I've seen some newer lab reports, and lo and behold, Delta 8 THC is being tested. They are testing for that. And it's just that, you know, a lot of people are not familiar with it, and, you know, probably really didn't even pay much attention to it on the lab report, because most patients in this program are not looking at lab reports like I do. So they may not be paying attention to whether there's a Delta 8 indicator on there or not. And most time it's really not enough Delta 8 in the plant at the time that it's tested for it to register. And so I'm working to get some additional education about Delta 8 THC, specifically how it's being sourced in Ohio, how processors are making it. Obviously what I'm hearing is that it's a process of converting CBD hemp into Delta 8 THC using some type of solvents of some sorts. That's what I'm being told, and I would like to hear some people who are actually dealing with it directly to kind of explain it to us. So I'm working on that. So keep eye out for that, because there is going to be a presentation put together that specifically talks about Delta 8. You know, I'm going to have some licensed professionals on here explaining it to me. It won't just be some random person. So, you know, and it'll be somebody who, you know, has experience with it personally, as far as from a retail point and a creation point. So that's something that you can look forward to, because I know a lot of people have questions about it. I've got a Pure Ohio Delta 8 THC vape cart, and you know, I mean, to me, if you wouldn't have told me Delta 8 was in it, it wouldn't have made no difference to me. Still a good cartridge, but it wouldn't have like, oh, I could taste the Delta 8 flavor. You know, can I feel a different effect from it? Oh, certainly. I'll tell you like this, I keep that particular cartridge next to my nightstand at night. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I might hit that cartridge, and I might find myself able to go to sleep a little bit better. So that would be one thing I could say, is that it does sit at my bedside, and that's really the only time I use it. And I have the pineapple drip from Pure Ohio. You said Delta 8 has helped you stop smoking nicotine. Well, that's awesome. That is awesome information, Mo Vision. So I would love to hear more about your journey. You should come to the meeting and talk to us about that one day, man. And I think that would be cool, man, if you come to the Zoom meeting and tell us how Delta 8 helped you quit smoking. I think that would be valuable information for the cannabis community to know. Because I haven't heard anyone else say that before, Mo Vision. So that's awesome, man. That is really, really cool. And, you know, that's something I just totally wasn't even thinking about. You know, I used to smoke cigarettes, and I quit smoking cigarettes by using vaporizers, not vaporizers, but what am I trying to say? Those vape nicotine pens or whatever. And I just got tired of dealing with all the stuff involved with it, so I kind of like just gave up on it altogether and was like, yeah, kind of tired of fooling with that, man. It's just like, yeah, it's not all that to me. Just a bunch of sugar water to me at some point. I feel like they were just sugaring everything down with all these flavors. Okay, well, not well, but you made progress, see. So it may be we learn later on with more additional scientific research that there is some connection between the Delta 8, you know, having some special effect that kind of like helps people with nicotine addiction. So that could be a whole new study we could have done. You know, I got a scientist. I think I might have to talk to her about that. Hope she's watching, man. See, that's some stuff we could look into, like Effects of Delta 8 in counteracting nicotine addiction. Wow, that could be the next big thing. People could be using Delta 8 to quit smoking, man. Now, since we're talking about it, does the Delta 8 taste different if you smoke it or vape it by itself, Mo Vision? Does it taste different? Tell us that. Is it like smoking CBD? I mean, does it have a distinctive taste or smell? I mean, that's what I mean, if you showed me some Delta 8 flower, would I know it was Delta 8 flower? I mean, I just think it's, more something in a flower. It's still cannabis, though. I mean, that's why it's like, I don't understand the craze behind it, because it's like just another cannabinoid to me. It's not like a whole new thing, like an object of sorts. Just like CBD or CBG or CBN. It's just, another thing we can use. So I don't know. You tell me if you think it has a weird taste or anything, because I would like to know. You 600 milligrams in a day. More than 100 milligrams in a 1-day unit. Okay. How high you think it should be for 1-day units, guys? I mean, if you think 110 for the 1-day edible unit is too low, what will 1 day really be if we're still doing this stupid day thing? What do you think? 200 milligrams a day? 500 milligrams a day? 1,000 milligrams a day? You said you couldn't tell a difference. Yeah, I believe that. It's like a shiny new object in the cannabis community, because people didn't know that there was a way to sell it and that you could actually feel something from it other than the effects of CBD, which have a completely different feeling that doesn't have any psychoactive. See, people are being sold on the psych hype. The psych hype. Oh, you can feel it, man. You're gonna get a buzz, man. Just like if you smoke some Delta 9, man. You gotta try it, man. You said it tastes like good cannabis. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get some from somewhere. I hate to say it like that, but I'm gonna try something by itself, or whatever allegedly it is. And I found some sources, and I'm gonna have to try some more stuff outside of this program, so I can kind of learn from personal experience about some of these different things. So that's another thing I'm gonna start working on. I'm just a little skeptical about buying things that are just sold at a store versus something that's sold at the dispensary. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of my comfort zone a little bit to learn more about these Delta 8 products and some of these other CBD things that are out there. So it's always room to learn and step outside of your comfort zone. So that's really kind of the way I see it. So yeah, I think that it'll be good for you guys to come to the meeting, bring some people with you. We'll try to go over some information and try to figure out how we can mobilize everybody together to start doing things. And like I said, we're gonna start trying to put some events together that everybody will be excited to come to, virtually. And sometimes it'll be something where maybe we can do something in person, and just be some kind of group participation, like everybody goes to the same sale, or everybody shops at the same dispensary, or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to think outside the box, just like Firelinks did. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with what you said, Mo Vision. You're 100% right there. Other cannabinoids will definitely help you. It's more to it than just THC and Delta 9. There's a lot more out there, and there's a reason why you might like one strain over another. It's not just because you like the name or the smell or the taste, but it may actually be the other cannabinoids that are present within that strain that may be helping you. And this can apply to anybody, whether you're in the program or not. I mean, you might find something out there in the street that works for you. The only problem with that is, they don't always keep the same stuff as stock in the streets either. And, that's kind of the setback. I tell you, before I had my card, a lot of people talk about streets and buying from the streets and everything. But, I mean, when I didn't have my card and had to wait on somebody else to get the medicine, and maybe playing games with you and taking hours and hours, or not answering their phone, or not showing up when they were supposed to, or charging you a crazy price for some crappy product. I mean, everybody who's done stuff in the street knows what I'm talking about. No one's exempt from a bad cannabis deal in the streets. We've all had that experience at least once in our lives. And so, you know, and then we all have had that person that said they was coming for 10 hours and never show up for whatever reason. Things do happen. Ohio cannabis are in with normal. Uh, I don't know. I don't understand what you're saying there, Mo Vision. Could you be a little more specific? I don't know. I'm not quite sure the status of the Ohio normal chapter, if it's established right now or isn't. I mean, I've heard different things about it, so I'm not really able to speak much on it because I haven't really talked to anyone from that organization. Yeah, I mean, someday, Green Toker, like I said, we can just, like I said, get past, you know, all these variants that are lurking around. They keep talking about, and you know, I see they shutting Canada down, and I don't know, man. I had to just take a break from all that stuff, so I can't tell you everything that's going on, but I just know things ain't going the way they thought they was going to go, and they already talking about giving everybody booster shots on all these vaccines we already got. So, and I had my second shot, and I just had a sore arm and felt tired. Those were the main effects that I had. Are in part of normal chapter. Okay. All right. Cool, man. Like I said, that's good to know. Like I said, I haven't had any connection or contact with that group. But you know, I'll certainly take any information you have about them, and I certainly look into it or whatever. It's not a problem. All right, guys. Well, I just want to let you guys know that you know, we'll be starting the meeting a little bit early for some people, just to make sure we got everything working. But if you have any questions or issues with getting the Zoom set up, or anything else, feel free to just hit me up on the website, ohiocannabislive.com, or hit me up anywhere else on social media. And I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Peace.